Hello traders and welcome to our live trading workshop. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the gold trade over here. What we are looking at in terms of live trades. I'm looking at actually a long on this, so I'll look at some factors for the price action setup, which is in tie with our topic for today. I'm looking at Brent as well. I'll see if we do get a short position on that. And finally, I'm also looking at the GBP USD towards the short side. So we'll take a look at all this. And also, another thing we'll be taking a look at is our topic for today as well. The topic is going to be on precise entries, because a lot of people get inconsistent performance because they do not know first where to enter. And the main reason why they do not know where to enter and they're entering on guesswork is because they do not have the MS factor. The other thing also is because they are always looking to chase to get in early, right? And this is what I did for a good like 5-6 years. Okay, always looking to get in early. It's not about, the actual thing is, it's not about early versus late, right? It's about thinking about this HML factor, which I'll be talking about later on today in the topic as well. And the final thing is, after you do understand the first 2 points, and then the last thing is, where do you really pull the trigger, right? And that's based on the 2 steps over here, the DB and T, which I'll be covering as well. And as a bonus section, the icing on the cake, I'll also be telling you how to enter precisely with precision, no fluff, no guesswork, with a large move left. Okay, so this is what we're covering, this and more in this live trading session. Okay, great. I think we are good to rock and roll now. So I'm just been updating the trends across the different time frames, as you also saw the quick intro on us. We're just improvising things over here. So you see, to give you all the best feel and experience on these live streams. On the 4-hour time frame on gold, I'm also getting a downtrend here as well. So as you all know, gold has been going down for quite some time, isn't it? So we're still getting the downtrend here. Then here on the 1 hour, let me just do the 1 hour very quickly as well here. On the 1 hour, we are doing a downtrend phase 1, 2 as well, right? So downtrend phase 1, and then on the 15-minute, downtrend phase 2, okay? Is what we are having over here, right? And then what we are also then having is, I'm just going to take a look at the stretch principle here. We are having the upper stretch being taken out, right? And then the range lines, we got the latest upper range, Bro to ST. I know some of you might be looking here. You know what you can do as I'm filling all that up? Tell me what trend we are in right now over here, okay? Have a think on it. If you want to type into the chat box, that's great as well. I will hide this for a moment and let you all think about that. Let me just put in this one once again, all right? You guys have a think. What trend would it be without our smart money framework over there? Now, in terms of range lines for here, or the stretch, isn't it? So we got the upper stretch being taken out. The range lines, right, the range lines, let me take a look over here, right? The range lines, let's see, 12 o'clock is what I take a look at. Okay, good. So it's not crossed this yet, right? It's not crossed this. And right, so we got that. And what time was that done? That was at 2:45. Interesting. So we got, so it is been, it's not taken out either one, isn't it? That's very interesting. Right? So I will just put a no over here, NA. So it's not taken out either one. Let me just take a look at Nava very quickly, because it's a bit more easier to look at. This is 25th today at here. Okay. So here, 8, 0 to 12. So And that's the 8 o'clock one, is it? Interesting. So the 8 o'clock one, so it has taken out the 8 o'clock. So I'm just going to, I'll give you some reference links in a minute. I have no fear on that. So latest one is lower range, isn't it? Okay. And then the brew to ST, let me see, is towards the upside, right? So I'll put that in there as well. Previous daily high and low, yes, that's quite clear. Previous daily high. And then in terms of entry bias, has it done its range yet? So let me just see that. So 223, what range has it done here? We need a range indicator here, 151, isn't it? So 223, 151. Right, so 0.8 times 223, 178. Yeah, so this hasn't done it yet. Okay. So I'll put as no. Okay, good. So this is what it's looking like. Yeah, not very clear. Let's look at it together. So maybe we can take a look at another instrument. Maybe it'll be much more clearer over there. So you can see over here, right? So what I've done is I've correlated across the different time frames. Those of you who've been joining us regularly on the live stream, you will understand this, especially those of you who have joined us on our programs and understand our, what we do and are quite used to the way that we look at our methodologies and everything. You understand what we're doing, okay? So for those of you coming in new for today, I'll be covering it in the topic today, which is how we are getting these precise entries, right? So I look at some time frame correlation to get a bias. And over here, I can see that across all the time frames, it's on a downtrend, isn't it? Right? And then over here, that's also in the latest lower range here. But the only thing is direction bias, you see. A downtrend phase 2 is basically going against the trend. That's a bottom to top move, right? So two time frames are aligning to the upside. These two time frames are aligning to the downside in terms of the trend. But across all, there's still a downtrend. Here, there's 5. Yeah, it's mixed, isn't it, traders, right? And then even if I did the 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So it's a tie. So to be honest, I can't really say any entry bias over here. So I'll put on NA over there. My only entry bias comes if I look at the bar mechanics itself, it's pointing to the upside. So if I were to take any side to this, I will use the help of the price action itself, okay? So one place that I can take a look to come in over here is this is my only best bet, right? So here is my entry. I'll give the trade call in a minute, but it's not my best setup here because not everything is correlating. And here, right? And we still got 15 minutes more to the entry. And then after that, if you want there's an earlier entry, you want a conservative one, is towards that. That will be a trend change as well over here. And then we are taking a look at that target. So let me see. So on the high, 4576.55. So I will give it at 4.4577. Okay, give it for some spread as well. Make sure you add the spreads accordingly. It's important. 4577, right? So here, 4576.55. So 4577. And then the stop loss here, 4532, isn't it? 4532.50, okay? Is 4532.50. I'll put it here, right? And I'll give that in the Telegram channel very shortly as well. And then in terms of the target, right? So what we'll do is, good, okay. And over here, in terms of the target, I'm going to take a look at 2272, isn't it? Is what we're looking at the moment, you see? 2272. So just give me a moment. So I am going to do this, right? So 4577. Nope, it should be 4576, right? 4576 plus this 22. Okay. We'll get an easier trade, I think, elsewhere on another instrument, but you know what? I've just started this, right? So let me just finish this. 4598. Right, so here, 4598 would be my first bet over here, okay? So that's what I would do. And our second entry could be on here. So I'll give this out first to you guys. Okay, so let me say this. Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments coming in. Lux, thanks for that. You say consolidation. Yes, right. Absolutely. Without the market structure, you would say that it's in a consolidation. Okay, but of course, because you see, it is compressing a little bit. So even though our market structure here, even though this is saying downtrend phase 2, but we know that the phases are compressing. Okay, that is why for precise entries, you need the two factors, which I'm going to cover in today's topic, right, in a minute or so. Good. So I am giving this. So if you did want to take gold long, so this is what I will take a look at. I believe actually, traders, that actually Brent might be an easier trade, really. I'll go to that in a minute. 4577, and stop loss over here is over here at 4532.50. Okay, 4532.50. And then target is going to be at 4598. Okay, 4598. That's what we are aiming for. Okay, so I've just sent that across with. Okay, good. So we can put that on the Telegram channel as well. I'll take it at lower risk as well. I mean, if you were to take at it, I mean, a conservative entry, which is what we're going to be taking a look later, isn't it? Early and late, right? A conservative entry would be over here, okay? As it takes this high out, 4585.71, so 4586. So your entry 2, which is good, which you can tie into today's topic as well when I cover this, right? And I will then put everything into perspective. So let me see. So stop loss here, right? So 4586, and then our stop loss, if it does remain on this side over here, actually, in fact, we can do towards the MAE 22, 1.75, isn't it? 1.5 times 22, 33, right? So if I were to do it here even on the low, 4555, right? 4555.50, okay? 4555.50. So how much is that then? That's about 31. That's fine. That ties in with our MAE stats. And then your next target really can be towards, after I can just add another 22. So 4585 plus 22. Okay, 4607. So 4608. So if I were to do that, let me do my next target. And the final thing I'll do the other thing. But before, I go on to the next one, let me see here. I'm just quickly going to get the range from here, right? So here, so we got 223 from yesterday. Just bear with me, right? Because I'm going to give you all the reference links very shortly to go through all of this. In fact, we're also compiling a free resources page as well. So we'll be getting that shortly. 223. We got some really great news for you guys as well. Like those of you joining in for the first time, how we can really understand these powerful concepts very, very fast, okay? like in 50 minutes, under an hour. I'm going to tell you how to do that in a minute. So 223, we got 178, isn't it? So the low, 4456 plus 178, right? Okay, 4634. I should give you all the reference links much before as well. So 4634 is our, I think before that, 4608, I think this would be our second entry. I've put that in as well. Not sure if you do get along, but in terms of our third target towards a bias on the long side is here, 4634. Okay, good. I think I've given you all that. Before I analyze one more, I just want to give you all the reference link very quickly. You see all of this, right? So you don't get overwhelmed with all these terminologies and everything. We just released a masterclass webinar, okay? Now, in terms of the masterclass webinar, it's just under like 1 hour, it's about 50 minutes or something. But you'll get the essence of everything. Really powerful concepts that has been consolidated over 20 years of research and with our cumulative team experience of over 50 years over here, okay? And we got, actually, the thing is we got trained by institutional quant traders. So the material is really solid and you won't hear this anywhere in the retail market, especially when I go through the topic today. So you see, once you come onto this page, you can read about it and everything, and then you can click to register over here. You can see the different dates that you can actually register for. Actually, today is the date we are launching it, right? 25th of March. It's going to be at 7 p.m. UK time. You can watch it, or if you can't make it at that time, you can always then go for the other dates as well. Okay, right, good. So that's the masterclass webinar. Highly recommend that. That's where you'll understand this entire thing what we're talking about over here. And then the other thing is also those of you who've been watching all of this, you know, gone through our videos, on our email list, come to our events, you know, life caught in the way, sitting on the fence. You know, I would highly recommend you guys now to get back into it, especially when the markets are really amazing at the moment, right? And we're already up about just under about 20% at the moment in our live trading room. Just end of day strategies, 1% non-compounded risk. In fact, on Thursday on our monthly sessions, we are going to be talking about our performance. Okay. Now, over here, if you want to get the market structure, you know, the smart money framework indicator, which tells you all about all of this, which I'm going to go through in a minute through our topic today, then you can just get it onto your screens, right? You just don't just get the framework. The framework, what I mean is just this one here, right? What I mean is, you see over here on Brand, it tells you all the trends across the different time frames, all the different stats as well, which we have analyzed in our previous videos over here too. You know, all this, you see the stats at the bottom, tells you for positioning for targets based on probabilities. This will tell you, okay? But then you just don't get the indicator alone. Okay, and it's available on different platforms, not only TradingView, MetaTrader, and a NinjaTrader as well. You're getting it more on other platforms as well, so just stay in for that. And then TradingView alerts you can get, but on top of that, you get 3 strategy rules as well. That is on our Elite Traders portal. You can get that. Monthly sessions as well, so it's to give you some hand-holding. Any questions you got, you can also ask us on that. And also on the first month, you get one-to-one live trading session. This is very invaluable. In fact, people ask for more even as well. Okay, so not just the indicator, not just the framework, you get all of this along with this. Okay, so you can take a look at it at your own free time. The other thing also, another place where you can get some really good reference links is actually our YouTube channel, right? youtube.com/master the markets. Those of you who've been following us for quite some time, what I would suggest is after you click the subscribe button, click on the all bell icon. Okay, that's very important over here. Now, after you click the all bell icon, anytime we go live, you'll get notified. And then if you can't come and watch it live, you can always save it to watch later. Okay, right. So in terms of this, right, what some of the reference links, these are all some of our past live streams performance. This has been really popular. People have been looking at our last 2025 trading performance, as well as I know I go through it in a very much more clearer overall way. For the last 15 years we've been doing this live. Okay, January as well, you can see how we have done. We'll do one more in Q1 at the end of this month. And then over here, this one is a good one to watch, really, right? The stretch principle videos, I highly recommend that. This was actually popularized by a big hedge fund trader, a billionaire hedge fund trader, Toby Crable. These are the principles from there. The principles are very solid. We've simplified it on this video over here that you can look at. Some of you will be familiar with opening range breakout. It's all over the internet as well, but it's not that clear. So here we've really made it very, very clear. In fact, people say that Toby Crable, who actually popularized opening range breakout, was actually taught by our mentor's mentor, okay, right back in the 1970s and 80s. Good. So I've given you all the reference links as well, and a quick shout out to Trade Nation, who always sponsors us for our annual summit that happens every once a year. Some of you already got tickets. If you haven't got it, there's a few left. You can get it. You can join us online as well. I think the in-person tickets are almost filled up. I think there's only about 1 or 2 spaces left. And then they are the ones who sponsor us for that. And then if you want to open up a Trade Nation account, especially I recommend it for intraday trading, right? It's really, really good. Very, very low spreads. You can open it up using the link that we are sending to you. And also on the Telegram channel, we'll send you all the links as well, how you can open it. And then you'll be given a personalized manager as well as some free goodies from us as well for supporting us as they support us, our marketing outreach, as well as our endeavor to spread the truth out of trading. Okay, with that said, let me see if I can quickly go on to the other things over here. Gold is back on the upside again, I can see. We'll wait and see. We got all our levels stored in right now. We'll see how this performs. It's still on the upside. We'll wait and see. We've got our pending orders in. Now, in terms of Brent, what have we got over here? Some of you have been following us. Last week, we took an S&P trade. You saw that in real action as well. We took it short. It hit the target as well. You'll have seen that in the email. You've seen that in the videos. Brent, on the other hand, I'm getting a downtrend across all the lower time frames, isn't it? Right? And in terms of bar mechanics, this is a bit more, yeah, it's caught in between, right? And its last high that it came was here, wasn't it? That's the high. It hasn't made a low yet, isn't it? Because it's stuck inside that big bar there. I think that's what it's a bit tricky there. I think I'll leave it for now. I'll just take a look at GPUSD very quickly. This might be a trade here. So downtrend phase 2, uptrend phase 1. Let me just take a look here. On the 1 hour. So what's happening here? Let's see. That's no trend at the moment because if you see, it's made a lower high but not taking out that low. So this is the critical level, right? Remember, what I'm teaching you here is the principles. You can apply this to any methodology, okay? So we got that one there. In terms of the 1 hour there. In terms of the 15-minute, let me see. In terms of the 15-minute, that's a downtrend there. Yeah, it's taken out its last low. If I were to come into this, I would say that would be my entry point. Let me just see the 12 o'clock range. Yeah. So it's this one here. Okay. If you were to get into here, that would be the level I'll be taking a look at. Okay. On the short side over here, because it's pointing out to the short side. Let's take a quick look. But I think we just don't have enough time to analyze this. Those of you who learn this, you can analyze that later. I'm just going to stick with gold for now. I'm taking a look at the volume as well. I can see that the volume, there's spikes on this 3 bars here, isn't it? Right? Not the ideal, not very obvious, but it's telling you that strength on weakness, isn't it, with the volume? And then if we do give us more strength on the price action side. Okay, so this is what we got. So I'll stick on with this. Let's see how that does. But those are the levels that I'll be taking a look at. So I've given you entry 1 and 2. Now that will swiftly move us to our topic for today, right? So coming back into our topic, I've talked about it just now as well. on precise entries, right? So precise entries, a two-step execution process, okay? Now, before we delve into that, as I mentioned before in the beginning, you see the problem that people get into guesswork, right, with entries, and they come to us and tell us that, you know what, Thiru, one of the things I'm really struggle with is I don't know where to enter, okay? And most of my entries are guesswork, all right? And that is what is leading to most of your inconsistencies, traders, okay? And the reason is because you don't have the MS factor, all right? Which I'll talk about in a minute, all right? And the other thing is, as I've mentioned before as well, when I was looking through the live trades, is that early versus late. We are always looking to enter in early, but without factoring in HML, right? When you really factor in HML, it really doesn't matter early or late. We'll be looking at a different metrics altogether. Okay, this is what really open up your eyes. Now, then the other thing then is the finally after you understand all of this, right? After you get the precision on where to enter, and then you understand that to look at the HML rather than early or late, and then finally you get to the two steps, okay, before you pull the trigger, right? Which is the DB and T factor, right? And then finally the icing on the cake, the bonus section I'll give you is how to enter then, understanding all of this, still with the largest move left, okay? That's what we'll be covering today. So let's go on to the first one. So where to enter? Now, to answer that question, I will throw you back another question, which I want to give you a diagram, right? And you guys tell me which entry would you prefer, okay? So I'm going to show you this, right? A swing move here, bottom to top move, and I've labeled point 1, 2, and 3. Where would you all prefer to enter? Is it number 1? Is it number 2? Or number 3? You can type that into the chat box, or those of you viewing in, you can say that mentally as well. Yes, as I can see on Zoom as well, and on WhatsApp messages, you can see that most of you all are preferring number 1, and that's the usual uniform answer that we always get, right? Everybody wants to get into number 1. But here's a subtle point here, okay? I can only say number 1, right, is better than number 2 and number 3 in reference, here's the important point, in reference to this bottom, right? If I don't have that bottom quantified, or, it's not clear, okay, how can I say 1 is better than 2 or 3, right? So if I had this, something happening like that, right? So like this, like this, like this, like this, and then I was putting 1 here, and then maybe 2 over here, and then maybe 3 over here. Then now the answer would change, isn't it? Because in reference to the bottom, looks like number 3 is better for this swing move. Now you see there's a lot of points here that you can take. First is to have that reference point to your bottom or your top. After you have your reference point, then you get very clear about that next metric that I talked to you about, which is the HML. But before all of that, the first thing you got to think about is your reference point. And you need the reference point of your bottom or top, because that would then you where you are in terms of the swing. You see? Now I know that, okay, now there's another problem here as well, because you're looking back and then you're seeing the bottom, isn't it? You got to see some kind of quantification that you got, some kind of metric you got in real time. Hey, you know what? That's a bottom formed. That's what you got to do. Without that is where everything starts to go haywire, messy, and you get inconsistent performance and you waste a good 10, 15 years. That's the kind of clients that we get. People come to us, they've gone here and there, 5 years easily goes by, can't get anywhere, and they say, you know what, Thiru, I need some help. And then when you show this market structure, and then everything fits into place. You can apply this on any methodology. So let's go forward. Now, so in answer to the question where to enter, the first step for precise entries, right? The first step for precise entries would be, first is to quantify your top and bottom. Okay, where is your top, where's your bottom? Once you do that, that will define the beginning and the end of your swing. Because once I know what's my bottom, then I also will know what is the top. Okay, I inverse it, apply the same metric to the opposite side. And this is what we call traders. Once you quantify tops and bottoms, this is what we call the market structure. So when I was invited for over 5 days to lecture and to trade in real time for a futures workshop, and we were taking a look at this as well, market structure. It opened everyone's eyes up. It was incredible, right? So that's what we mean by the market structure over here, okay? Quantify tops and bottoms, and then it would define your beginning and end of swing market structure. The final point, what I want to say over here is that whether you like it or not, all of us are trading some part of a swing in some part of a time frame, right? So this market structure is important because every strategy sits in that. Now, the next thing, okay? Now, I'll just show you diagrammatically. So once you have the bottom is like green arrow here or blue arrow, and then your orange arrow here. And then when you got basically your bottom confirmed, which is what, you get a blue dot. Basically, this is what we call the confirmation bar. The confirmation bar that fulfills the formulas, whatever formulas that you got to confirm a bottom. Once it confirms that, fulfills the formulas, a dot comes, and then the arrow comes at the same time. So basically, this is the confirmation bar that confirms this bottom. But until that bar arises, so let's say you're another bar over here, you don't have a blue dot, that means I won't have that bottom confirmed. So it's just a potential bottom, which can be broken, right? So if I go back onto here, onto our live charts over here, on this live trade that we're taking at the moment, this is the best thing when you're doing a live trade as well, isn't it? Because we can then learn in real time as well. It's just not theory, but application as well. So you're seeing over here, right? So at the moment, you see, this is very clear now for most of you, I can see. You see, this bottom here got confirmed by this bar, right? So even though this happens, all this retracement happens and all of that, this is now a bottom to top swing, right? But still in a downtrend phase 2 on the 15-minute time frame. Even though that is the case, right? But you see, this top hasn't been confirmed yet, right? There's no orange arrow, orange dot. Okay, this was the latest one, right? So the bottom is still prevailing, right? It's not taken out this bottom yet. So this is what gives us the confidence to still, put these pending orders in. All right, you're still not pulling the trigger yet. There's only one part. Just hang on a minute. So that reinforces the point of quantifying your tops and bottoms to know where the beginning and the end of the swing is. Okay, so that's what it tailor all over. So you see, as I said, if you hide it, then if I just open it up, then after that I can really see, because I can see where my tops are, where my bottoms are, and then I can convert this into a line diagram, right? Like this, and then I can see what trend it really is in, okay? And all this was, you know what, I mean, the inspiring thing was all coded by our community itself, our traders who just came in, watched on the YouTube live stream just like you guys, or through different means. They've met us in different referrals or in exhibitions or whatsoever, got inspired by this, got clarity, saw amazing improvement in their trading, and then they came to volunteer to code all this for us. So the community itself uplifts the community, okay? So over here, you can see over here as well, the same thing. I can see this across all time frames, all because why? We have quantified what a top and a bottom is. In other words, you got your market structure. So at any point of time, I know where I am in my swing. So in this top to bottom move, I know here, right? Over here, this is where I'm at. And where I'm here at today, this is quite far extended. And I can refer to these tables to see what's the probability of it moving any further down. That's how trading should be, with precision, right? Giving you a guideline, giving you a framework. This is how it should be. Right, so that's the first part. So where to enter? So whenever you want to then enter, we can then, one point of entry could be when the swing is confirmed, okay? But that doesn't need to be the end all be all for your entry. So I'll explain in a minute. Now, let's go then talk about early versus late, okay? Now, how do you tackle this, right? Because you see, I'll show you an example here, right? So some people might say, even if I take a look at this example, if I want to take a look at short, right, on the gold over here on this, when the top got confirmed, a lot of traders come to us and tell us, you know what, Thiru, it's good that I get clarity right now, but you know what, if I show this on the replay mode, maybe start new, let's say I did this, right? And you know that that's where the confirmation happens In real time, it happens when the next bar opens. But you see, this is where, let's say your entry came in to short it, right? Tiro, I've missed so much move already. This is a late entry, right? And then they start using words like, oh, it's a lagging indicator and all of that, right? There's no such thing as the Holy Grail, isn't it? Nothing is going to just enter you right at the top. But then you might say, oh, why couldn't you have just entered me just here? You know, maybe why so far away, right? Or maybe even here, right? But all this first, remember that you're looking at hindsight. Okay, that's not how we look at it in a professional, right? On other swings, you might then look at it and say, oh wow, you entered me really early. But you can only say that. You see, look at this big swing that it rode over here, right? Okay, from entering over here. Okay, but you can only say that in hindsight, isn't it? But then if you look at it from in real time, this is all you would have seen, and you might again complain that, you know what? It's moved so much. It missed so much of the move already. I'm getting in late, right? Hopefully you guys start to understand. So you see, the real thing is, it's not about early or late. And I wasted another good 4-5 years thinking about always looking how to enter early. In fact, even after my mentor taught me all of this, I was always looking to beat the dot, right? How do I get in earlier than the dot? And my mentor used to tell me, why are you always looking to enter in earlier? But I was just not getting it. It was just going in 1 year out. The real metric to really, really look at, right? Okay, over here is not how much move you have missed. This is the wrong thing to look at. Look at, refocus now. Look at how much move is left. This is where the money is. Okay, look at how much move is left. This is what we call open equity or open profit. Open equity is an institutional term, right? So when you take a look at all of this, and this is what this table is telling you, right? So it's telling you that anytime the dot happens to get to 1 ATR, right, which is about, at the moment, on the daily time frame, what is that? That's about $190, right? To get to $190, there's a 60% probable every time the dot happens. This is what individuality base is, right? Very important. If there's one thing I want you all to take away would be that. So whenever we look to enter a trade, so if I come out of the replay and I go into real time now, right? So I leave this right now and I come back into this trade, which we got pending orders in, which is coming to just trigger us now. That's what I always look at. After this dot here, after I've correlated everything, how much move is going to be left still? After it's dancing around here, after it triggers me in. So that's the main thing. I can't re-emphasize that anymore. So don't keep looking at how much move was missed. Look at how much move is left. I know some of you will still be thinking, oh, but still, how do I beat the dot? How do I still get in earlier? Don't worry, okay? I've got a bonus for you. That's what's going to happen in the end, okay? I'm going to reveal that to you. Right. Now, before we come to that, the final thing is, where do I pull the trigger? Do I just pull the trigger anytime at the beginning of a swing? Right? Anytime the dot happens, do I just pull the trigger? Every time, wherever. When I see the orange dot, blue dot. No, 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 no. This is market structure. This is just a framework. Tells you where the swing is beginning and ending, right? Which swing, which dot, okay, which entry of the swing, which blue dot or orange dot you're going to enter, which is on your strategy rules. You have to select it, okay? You have to select it based on your strategy rules, and that's where the whole strategy construction comes in, okay? It's a big topic altogether. Our clients who have gone through our Traders Basecamp package and Ultimate Advance and all of that, they will understand this very clearly because we take them through a systematic way. And the amount of shifts I've seen in these clients is just phenomenal. Lux is really one of them. I've seen the amazing transformational shifts he's had. It's just mind-blowing. So you see, traders, after you got all of this, it's a matter of selection. Okay, which one are you going to trade? Which of those blue dots, which of those swings are you going to trade in that market structure? Not smart money indicator, the smart money framework. It's not a buy and sell indicator, not just blindly. No, it's not a black box system. It's not. Okay. So what you got to do is, before you pull the trigger, what we say is a two-step process. Okay, from setup and to entry. So what we say is, you first got to form the direction bias. In our previous example, in this gold trade over here that we're taking, right? I did this on the table, isn't it? Right? I aligned it. I got a direction bias. I've got 8 factors that I look at, right? In terms of the bar mechanics, what we call the stretch principle, as well as the time frame correlation of all the trends as well as direction. That's how I form the direction bias. That's the first point. Now, you don't necessarily need to do what I'm doing over here. You can formulate your own checklist, right? According to your strategy rules and your objectives. That's another thing. A lot of people don't know how to construct a strategy and they waste another good 15, 20 years, right? So that's the thing. So the first thing is the direction bias. Okay? After you form the direction bias, right? Then we again don't just enter in just because it's saying, oh yeah, long, I just jump in. No, we didn't do that on the gold trade. You've seen that actually helps us from taking unnecessary losses from our previous live streams we have done. The next thing is then timing. When do I get into this trade? When do I get in? Right? And that's why it all starts from the setup and the entry. Okay. So here in the futures workshop, I taught this setup over here on this strategy over here. So you see, this is what we call, you see, I don't enter straight away when the bottom gets confirmed on the 15-minute. We just got a trigger. I saw it on the other accounts as well, got the ping sound. Let's see how that goes. Now you see, I just don't enter it just straight away after I got my direction bias to go long, right? On the dot. So what I then do, I can look for a setup. A setup is like this, maybe. I want some stops to be taken out, some selling to happen, but not the top to get confirmed. Then what we call the stops to cash setup. And then the last area where it cleared the stops, so the last highest point it went to, is where we then look to enter the trade, okay? This is what we can do. Okay, good. So that's what we have done over here in stops to, like a stops to cash setup. But doesn't matter. But the principle is what? Is I've got some kind of timing from a setup, the stops to cash setup, right? Clear the stops first. And then the entry after that, stop clearing area, okay? Your principle might be different, but you need to have these principles. All your parameters. I don't care whatever the specifics may be of your entry rules. And this is why when you teach in terms of principles, which is how we teach, you can apply it to any strategy or any methodology, right? So the thing is, the principles you need to take away is whatever rules you have, the rules must first give you direction bias. You're going to go long or short. Next thing is some kind of timing. When am I going to get in? And for the timing, it's a two-part process. Have your setup very clear, and then from your setup, from your price action setup, where you're going to enter. Okay, right? So those are the things I would say finally before you pull the trigger, which is what we did in real time for you. Now, the final thing, right? The bonus point. Some of you are still thinking, but you know what? How do I still enter early, Thiru? You know, on all of these principles, right? And still having direction bias and timing. So how do we enter with the highest move left? And this is where a large amount of our research is going at the moment. In fact, this was something that my mentor told me and my mentor's mentor wrote in his book 40, 50 years ago. That still stands true today. Very powerful, very geniuses, those guys. They said, use the RWS. Now, what is RWS? Use the ripple wave swell concept, right? With TFC. Okay, I'll come to that in a minute. Now, the ripple wave mean, you see, every swell, okay, in fact, one of the servers told me that a swell is bigger than a wave, right, before I taught that, because I never usually surf. I do swim, but I don't surf. I always thought a wave is bigger than a swell, but he told me a swell is bigger than a wave. So if you think about it, right, traders, yeah? So every swell, the biggest one that you see, you say, oh yeah, that's a swell or a wave, starts off with a small, tiny ripple, isn't it? Before you become an adult, you start off as an infant, and then the infant then goes to become a toddler, a teenager, then an adult, right? So likewise, every big move that you see, okay, starts off with a ripple, then a wave, then a swell. Okay, so the same thing here. So what they are saying is, and you combine that with the time frame correlation. So let me explain this to you in terms of the market principles. So before you see a bottom form on the daily time frame, let's say, right? That bottom was once an infant on the 5-minute time frame. Now that 5-minute bottom then becomes a 15-minute bottom, right? and then finally then becomes a 1 hour bottom, then a 4 hour bottom, then finally the daily bottom, isn't it? Basically, that price level that it comes down to, after that point, let me just draw this a bit more clearer. Let me hone in the point for you on this, and then you guys will really get it. And here's the best part about this, right? And if the bottom really sustains, right? Yeah, if the bottom really sustains, it will just keep going up. That level won't be taken out, isn't it? And then what will happen is, let's say on the 15 minute, the blue dot came here, right? The blue dot came here. And then on the 1 hour, then it will maybe come on here, right? And then on a 4 hour, maybe on here. So you see now how that 15-minute bottom is now becoming a 1 hour bottom, then a 4 hour bottom, then a daily bottom, right? And the market structure is no longer guesswork. You're still entering on the door. That's the real power. And why is that really powerful? Because think about this. Because when I enter on here, right, my trade risk is so small because they're infant, isn't it? Right, entry to the swing. But I'm riding so much big move, but all on a systematic way, which is also sustainable and scalable. Okay, so even with hours over here, as you can see, if I were to take a look on the gold, see, it's just taken that out, but just to give it some time. 15-minute over here, bottom here, right? Now, if the 15-minute bottom sustains, you see, this is what the 15-minute bottom here, you see, sustains, right? And then this one will become a 1 hour bottom. You see a blue dot happen. And if that blue dot then sustains onto the 4 hour, then you'll see that 4 hour then happen as well. Okay, okay, over there as well. The 4 hour is there. That's the 15-minute over here. So 15-minute, 1 hour, then 4 hour. Okay, so because we're not capturing the ultimate bottom, then that's why it's sustaining its current bottom at the moment. The best way to look at it is always come from a higher time frame. Then you'll be able to see what I am seeing. Now a good example here is what we are having over here, right? So here in real time, what I can show you is on the gold, you see, this is a potential bottom at the moment, right? That potential bottom, if I were to show you, would have become, and then with this we can finish off. I think we're running short of time already. And now I'll give you the summary points, okay? So over here, you see that bottom, right? So if I were to go to a 1 hour time frame, or maybe 1 hour for, I think you can get the idea. Let's say we start 15 minutes. In fact, what I should have done, oops, right. What I should have done here, right. So if you see, so that was the daily bottom there, wasn't it, right? So that was the daily bottom there. So you see what is happening over here? So you see the 15-minute bottom came here, right? Right, that's where the 15-minute bottom came here. So if I were to show you in proper replay, say, can I just, yeah, let me just select this. Yeah, there we go. So let me hone in the point, and this will be really good for some of you who can start thinking about all of this. This is really powerful when, you know what, when I was shown this. So you saw that on the 15-minute, right? This is where, over there, around there, right? So that's on your 15-minute bottom over there, right? So you can see over here, that's your 15-minute bottom there. I'll just get rid of the stats chart for now. Okay, that's good. So all this was designed by our clients who coded all of this in. So this is what I will tell you here. So you see, that's your 15-minute bottom. Now, that 15-minute bottom, if you take a look, if I go on to the 1 hour, right? You see, that blue dot probably wouldn't have come in yet, right? Okay, and then if I play it now forward, and then you can start to see what actually happens, right? So if you see over here, I'll do it a bit more faster. You can see it. See, then that 1 hour bottom then got confirmed over here. You see the blue dot. Now you see it's no longer guesswork. I'm following the blue dot, the same principles of a bottom, and I'm looking at it from different time frames, right? So the 15-minute bottom here, where the blue line is here, 4251, got later confirmed by the 1 hour bottom, right? At 4376, you see, right? But rather than waiting for the 1 hour, you see, I'm already getting in at 4251. I'm already getting in 100 points earlier on the gold, right? $42, right? So you see, then on the 4 hour, then you can then see that. Let's see when the 4 hour then confirms. Now you can see really, I know some of you are really getting it, saying that this is amazing, right? So over here, now you see the 4 hour then confirms over there, right? Over here. This is what we got, the latest one, right? So it's still sustaining, right? Now the real then thing is, you know, is this going to confirm on the daily, right? But now you can understand how I'm entering in earlier. You see, this is your 15-minute bottom. How I'm entering in earlier and riding it on the higher time frames and still riding a bigger move, but in a systematic, sustainable, scalable way, right? 15-minute here, 4251, $200 of risk. And then so far already, I'm up about $300 already. 1.5 to 1 actual reward to risk is what I'm riding at the moment. You see, this is what we are doing, right? So hopefully that has been really great for you guys. You know, it's just very systematic. And also, you know, these are the things that we teach you on Traders Basecamp as well, right? After you get the Smart Money Framework, you come on the Traders Basecamp, and we teach you how to put all this together into a solid strategy. But it's so systematic, not guesswork anymore, not wishy-washy fluffy, right? So that's how we are looking at it. It makes absolute sense, and you can use that with any kind of strategy or methodology, okay? So, okay, good. So I will keep an eye on this trade, see how that goes. Now, other than that, over here, as you can see, what have we covered in today, right? We looked at some live trades over here. In terms of the topic, what have we covered in for today is that the first thing we looked at precise entries, right? And where to enter, okay? Where to enter is what we looked at. And then we looked at why the market structure is so important for where to enter. Then the second thing, then we also then looked at is also early versus late, right? Early versus late. Now, don't just keep thinking about early and late and all of that. And then we say more focus on how much move is left, okay? And that is what is called open equity. Rather than how much move is missed, look at how much move is left, okay? HML, right? OE. Now, then the final thing is then the two-step execution process, and then which then talks about your direction bias and then your timing. And then from your timing, then get into your setup, know your figure where you actually enter the trade, okay? And then the final thing, the icing on the cake, which I gave you all as well, the Ripple wave swell example of a 15-minute bottom, then becoming a 1 hour, then a 4 hour, then a daily bottom with real life examples over here as well, okay? Traders, I think that's pretty much that from us in terms of the summary. Now, just to go through this right now, just all our reference points as well. What we will show you here is that our masterclass webinar, don't forget that if you want to then learn all of this in a very systematic way, I know I have to rush through a little bit because of the time frame that we got between the live trading and the theoretical side of it, the application as well, on why we are doing this or what we are doing. Go to our masterclass webinar. Highly recommend it. Definitely watch it. After you click to register, today is our launch date. So come in at 7 p.m. UK time and then convert that Eastern time. That would be about 3 p.m. at the moment because we're not going to daylight savings time yet. And then you can also join us on 22nd April or 20th May as well. Again, that's the dates that we got for now. Highly recommend, but come in today if you really can, right on the launch. Then the other thing is, those of you who want to get now, you've looked at our stuff, you're convinced, you want to get the SMI OE, and I highly recommend that. Just don't get the indicator, you get all of these things. You get a monthly group session, you get the 3 strategy rules with our members portal, one-to-one live trading session. So a lot of value over here. So you can definitely get that, get the clarity that you always wanted, okay? So that you can move from inconsistency to consistent performance, okay? Right, then our YouTube channel, youtube.com/master of the markets. After you hit the subscribe, hit the all bell icon. One more reference link I'll give you is the stretch principle as well, okay? That you can take a look at. If you want to go through our past live streams, some of them are over here. This one will come onto this row as well. Or if you want to look at past live streams, now you can take a look at the live section here as well, okay? Good, and then the Trade Nation, shout out to them as well on supporting us for all of our annual summit, which happens once a year, and also through all of our live streams over here as well. please do, if you want to open an account with them, especially for intraday trading, I highly recommend it. Do open up with them. All the details will be in the Telegram channel as well as on the YouTube channel as well. How you can open up an account with Trade Nation. Okay, a really friendly customer service. Also, the spreads are very tight as well. All right, that's pretty much that from me, traders, on this live trading workshop. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.